You see what we have right here? In front of the Exeter Inn. Well, one of my most traumatic childhood memories is. No joke. No joke. Oh, I wish I was joking. But my dad was... we were with my dad for the night. And we had to go meet up with a friend for dinner. And, well, let's just say that I didn't have my stuffed animal, Fievel Mouskowitz. And by the time that this was acknowledged, when we walked through that door right there, I was a wreck. That's what happens when you're 7 years old. But doesn't take away from the building. Very European. Yeah, I'm really excited to be back in my hometown of Exeter. Full of douchebags. It's good. That's a good start, huh? I'm sure we'll get lots of views that way. And weird that I'm saying that right in front of my home church of St. Michael's, but when I was driving in here, all I was dealing with is a bunch of inconsiderate drivers who are kind of stuck on themselves. But welcome to Exeter, New Hampshire. Here's a nice little memorial. This might never see the time of day, who knows. There's a World War I memorial right here that honestly I have never really taken time to look at. It's pretty though. The mom over her son. Probably more important though, even though the memorial's right here, is here's Michael House. This is where I spent many of my formative years for a church youth group. And my old high school, it's no longer here anymore, but it's over that way. I'll show you that in a second. But let's look at St. Michael's. So I go into all these churches around the world, but this is where it started for me, folks, right here. This was the home church. Remember many Christmases here? This is where I was confirmed. Still brings back really positive memories for me. And what's really kind of nice, as we stand out front, we're going to see if we can get in. We have a statue of Mary right here, but right down here we have a dedication to Father Mo. Remember Father Mo? I also remember when he passed, and for me it was like the first, well, it was the second biggest like funeral that I've ever been to. All right, let's see if they're unlocked. There is St. Michael. Take my hat off. Oh, yes. Oh, here she is, folks. What's interesting, I can tell you this. I don't remember these being here right here, but I like it. I like the addition. I think it's because it was added in 2013. But this was the church that I spent my formative years. And when I say formative years, I mean basically elementary school, high school, and even all through college. So, here's the altar. It's nice to be home. Before we head out, here's a closer rendition of Mary. And then this little prayer area right here is very pretty. This looks new. I don't remember this. All right, let's go. Now, if you go that way, you'll hit one of the elementary schools and the train station and all this good stuff. And beautiful homes line the way because Exeter's very, very wealthy. For the most part. Actually, no, it's wealthy. And to say it's not would be ridiculous. And it ties back in with my comment from before. It's actually something worth sharing. When I was driving here and I actually got to Exeter High School, the new one, a bunch of students drove out and they were being reckless drivers. And I say that because they were swerving into the middle lane and then cutting back over, weaving back and forth. No one else does that. except kids that are entitled. You know, it's interesting too, as the years go by, because having lived in so many different parts of the United States and now over the world, in different parts of the world, and I really do use that terminology. I use the terminology freely about entitled because when you look at these homes, it's just, we're growing up. I grew up in a different area for sure. If you saw where I've worked, some of the cities, some of the locations, you know, they don't know this. They don't know what this all means. So, needless to say, this is kind of a weird tour, huh? I guess people should appreciate what they have, is the point. But it's interesting, that house, the one that I showed right there, the pink color one, I had a friend that used to live there who was a war refugee. And he stayed here during the Yugoslavian war. I appreciate him even today because, you know, he brought a different perspective. So right here, I don't know what it's being used for now. I think a variety of things. It's the Tuck e-learning campus. But this is where I went to high school. Talbot Gymnasium, Seacoast School of Technology right there. You can still feel the spirit of the area. And while I love to give us, like, you know, it's funny, I'd like to give like a huge thorough tour of everything. You just don't have time. But I am going to show you this. Right across the street from the high school and the old junior high, that's now the YMCA, is the cemetery. And, I mean, we already went to church. We might as well go to the cemetery real fast. But the big thing about the cemetery was, back in school, and Harry Bennett, if you're watching this, you would confirm this. And here's a vocal thing. I wish you a continued recovery from where you are. But this cemetery, if there was a situation at school, this is where they'd fight. They would challenge each other. They wouldn't, because you couldn't fight on school property. But here was free reign, which doesn't make a lot of sense since it's a cemetery. But this is where the kids would go. And this might come as a shock to you. As I read, I saw the angel in the stone and carved to set it free. But I have not spent that much time in this cemetery. Not for fighting. I have run through it because it's very quiet and peaceful, as you can see over here. But I would zigzag through from down that way and then head along the side road towards Kimball Hill and Shaw's Hill for those people that want to go for a drive. But anyhow, it's interesting as we get older and you come back to an area and you look and you see familiar names, familiar family names. And that's what I'm seeing right now. And these beautiful trees. But then, of course, the kid in me, all I remember is the fights. And hide and go seek, but it's a story for another day. So I was going to ask you, what part of Exeter do you want to see? It is a city. It's an old city, one of the oldest in all of New Hampshire, and the former Revolutionary War capital. Oh my God, look at the bunny rabbits. Oh, did you guys see them? Did you see them? You know what rabbits teach us in a shamanistic tradition, and that's do not be afraid. Well, I guess I won't be afraid of showing you my town. Even though, as I said, I'm a bit jaded at this point. With the police station and fire department over there through the trees, we are, we'll say, in the center of the old part of Exeter. The Congregational Church. Big white church right there with the red doors. I don't know if you can see it. Beautiful spot. Actually, we'll try to go in. We should have done this in the winter time when the foliage wasn't out. But see, like here, you see like the old cemetery right next to it, or what remains. You have all these old colonial homes, and then here's like the bandstand in the center. Probably should wait until we get closer to talk it up. So here's the Exeter Town Hall. It's an interesting spot because Abraham Lincoln spoke here. This was his son was at Phillips Exeter Academy, which we're not going to really walk around. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but here on these steps, I remember during several presidential elections, this was where the Republican candidates would come to announce that they were running. And here is your kind of like your quintessential Main Street community right here, even though it is Water Street. Some old buildings, toy store, jewelry shop. I don't know how those guys can sit there though in front of the Thai restaurant. When I did that in front of the pizza place, the police showed up and told me to leave. What's cool right here though, with this little side thing in front of the Thai restaurant, you can tell this used to be a bank. I remember when it was the bank, when it was the Indian bank, because here was the deposits. And then it changed to Capri Pizza. And that's when there were complaints because the vendors here in town were getting annoyed because the younger folk, we would get pizza and then have conversations, but without having anywhere really to hang out, you know, things would arise. Here's the Exeter River, one part of it anyway. And look at the birds. We'll go down that way in a minute. But I don't know if you can see that flag in the distance over there. That is a gunpowder house, and we seized it at the beginning of the Revolutionary War. Come on. So, I was going to show you something while we're at it, as I'm basically pretending that I own these streets. Oh, they're building this. So, a couple things of interest, I guess you could say. So, out there is a bridge. It's kind of the main bridge that comes into town. Aside from this bridge that we're on right now, which is the string bridge. But this brick building that's being built out right here used to be the Ioka Theater. And for years, no one wanted to spend the money to bring it up to code, so now it looks like they're making it into probably condos. But anyway, there used to be a dam here, and but now not so much. Water slowing down. I had something random to share with you. See, this is the problem. When you're in your hometown, you share everything. I don't really care so much about the library. I used to when I was a kid. Well, the library's right there. Librarians weren't very nice. Nice, not as nice as they could be. So here's a entitled story. Entitled meaning me, from my youth. So when I was a senior in high school, we had to make a video. Well, I chose to make a video for my Russian project. And it's so funny, the birds are just sitting right down here, diving in, trying to get the fish. But anyway, what we did is we were making a Mission Impossible type movie, because at the time that was the popular film. So I was in a tuxedo. My friends, of course, were the mobsters and stuff like that. And what we did is we actually filmed scenes at the Exeter Inn where we started today. We filmed scenes here at the Exeter Mill because my dad's company had one of the offices here. Actually, we had a couple offices, and one of the people that filmed, she actually had some relatives here, so we figured it wouldn't be a big deal. But anyway, there was a chase scene. So, I kid you not, we were so I'm running down the street right here, okay? Just running down, racing down the street. And my friends are, we'll just say that they're holding some not water guns, outside the window. And I ran down this way, and there were a couple people that were fishing, and I still have the cut on the video where you can see them turn and be like, what's going on? Well, I actually had like a nice person stop, a kid, or maybe an early 20s guy. He wanted to be in the video. I was like, I'm just telling a story. Otherwise, I would have shot him. But, so anyway, we're doing this scene, and I'm racing down the street going this way. And let's just say, I don't know, within 10 minutes, the police showed up. Now, granted, late 1990s were a different time. I know for a fact no one's going to be running around town doing anything remotely cool like that. But what I did is, I could have kept going straight, okay? But instead, I went down this side alley right here, which is the way that we'll go, because I know it will. And see, this is what you get. You're not really getting a tour of the city and the history. You're getting a tour of my filming history. And I only knew about this back alley for a couple reasons. One, we'd park back here, number one. There's a couple restaurants back here at the time. Here's the mill. It's been renovated years and years and years ago, and now it's a place to live. I love these birds. They're so cute. You will note the sound difference back here because you're off the road now. You're off of Water Street. You're in the alley, which honestly used to be cooler because it wasn't paved. Hey, 127. How you doing, buddy? We filmed a scene here, but more importantly, I feel like every yearbook photo for many kids happen to be against this brick wall right here, where they film and they go, hey. Probably still happens now. The photographers that are hired, they always come down to this area because you get your water shots. And then you can get your brick spots just to have a little variety. Now what I'm trying to find, I don't know what happened to the restaurant. But anyway, here, we'll take this right here, a little boardwalk area. Play tourist. So this evening, by the way, because I'm actually starting a road trip out west, we're actually here because I wanted to have kind of one final run before I head out, if you will. You know, the fun story about this river right here is always in the winter time. So like people would get their shacks out here and do their fishing, and there's always someone who doesn't pay attention to the fact that this is tidal water. And yeah, their ice shack falls in. I always forget. I have to remind myself that this is brackish water at this juncture. I guess you call this progress, whatever they're doing right here. I don't. Well, I was about to take you over to Swasey Parkway. Love that hum over there. It's really cool, but they've blocked off my shortcut. But I want to show you that water right there, because in my scene right before the police showed up, this is where I jumped in. Good times. So we've come down, again, down Water Street. Here's the American Independence Museum. The Lad Gilman House. Very cool tour. You should take a look. Parts of PEA right there. And then now we're away from that noise. Kind of. There's some guy with like, instead of buying like bags of mulch, he's like loaded up the back of his truck with like a vacuum in reverse where it's spitting out all of the mulch. I mean, I guess it's a time saver, but it's so loud. So, I'm now taking you on a Swasey Parkway, which has a lot of fond memories. If you're ever in this area, Don't come on the weekend at Swasey Parkway where everyone wants to pretend that they're cool and they're out here. You want to come out here, though, in the early morning hours, if you're a runner or walker, and just enjoy the peacefulness of the water. But where those people are right there, that's where I jumped in. This is where the popo showed up. And then I had to explain to them that we were filming a movie. And anyway, yeah, it was a bit awkward. Because all my friends that were helping, they were laughing. And I was the one taking the brunt of the, of the issues. Luckily, though, I was a good kid. So it was more of just a conversation of, you need to make sure that people know what's going on, la 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 la. But, so, what I tell you, though, as we're here, aside from that story, this parkway has a lot of, interesting memories for me. And I imagine this is true for everyone who, you grow up somewhere and you're like, remember when we did this, remember when we did that. But this place, back in the 80s, okay? This was before cell phones, kids, okay? You did have, the mobile car phones. I remember my dad had one. Thought that was pretty cool. But he couldn't take it out of the car. But anyway, so on this parkway, I forget where we'd come from, but we went out to eat with my mom. My brother and I, we were 7 years old. And if you look over there, we had just moved our business, the offices across the river to the mill, if I remember right. Or we were on that building that I said hi to, or we were right there. The point is, we weren't that far away. But anyway, my brother and I, we got out of the car right around here, right around this spot. I'll never forget it. And so I'm talking to my mom. Yeah, because at the time you could drive the street. So she was coming this way. She stopped over the car. I walked around the car, and I was talking to her right here. Meanwhile, because I'm like this, and then meanwhile, my brother is getting ready to run across. He runs across the street. As you see, it's not that big. And then he runs back. And I don't know what happened, but there was an older woman, an elderly lady, geriatric. Is driving down this street. By the way, the speed limit's always been 20 miles per hour. But anyway, she came right here and she hit my brother. Boom. Right in front of my face. I remember his boot going up in the air. I don't remember. I remember kind of it all happening in slow motion. I remember him getting hit, him bouncing off the car, landing on the ground, and then I just saw his boot go whoosh, and then down. I'll never forget it. And then, because this was before cell phones, the old lady was worthless. She was in shock. My mom calmly says, "Stay with your brother." And then my mom had to drive back to work to call the ambulance to come here to come and get my brother. Just a different time. I got other stories. There's a house right over there where there was a murder. You can ask me sometime, I can tell you. The family I went to school with. Anyway, just take a moment, enjoy the water. I filmed my version of Forrest Gump right there. I know you wanted to know that. All these important details. Mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. Never know what you're gonna get. It's nice taking in the air here. I really do love just. It's there's a comfort in the familiarity. But then as I say that, as I walk around and I see all the changes, it's I have to get over to these, we'll say, less touch spots, less change spots to really feel, that sense of home. I would say, do you want a slice of pizza now? But I think all my pizza places, at least the ones here in downtown, are gone. It's like you have to drive a little bit to the other side of the tracks. But then if we drive to the other side of the tracks, I'm thinking maybe I should get ice cream instead. Not even here in Exeter, but just a little bit out. Ah, memories. Sounds good. I don't know, guys. I don't know. All I really want is one slice of pizza and some chocolate chip ice cream. But I guess before we do that, we'll cut up the other side of the street you didn't see. And you know, there are some strip malls as well. Strip mall shopping. George and Phillips. This is where I used to get my shoes. Oh my God, antique pop culture Krypton. So there is always a gauge on whether you can tell if a city is a good city or not. I had this when I was in Poland. And it's very simple. Do they sell wedding dresses? No, but they have this really cool animal right here. Look at this guy. Well, they sell lingerie. I thought there was a dress shop, though. Huh. So we hopped in the car. We got Burnham's dry cleaning down there to the side. Romeo's Pizza right there, which is where we got our 2 slices. And now we're going to walk by Jerry's Variety right here. And we'll go on to, I think we're just going to sit next to the track. Eat our slices. It's funny, they've had this route down to Boston for years now. And I've never taken advantage of it because I moved out of the area. Well, this is kind of fun. I was doing the turn. I remember how I was trying to figure out where do the kids loiter now. They loiter here. I just want to show you the tracks. In comparison to what we have in other countries like in Poland. So here you go. Amazing, huh? All right. Let's have these slices. You ready? Might have already taken a bite. I always like their sauce because they put a ton of like oregano in it, and it's a lot more sauce. Delicious. So we just came from there, but before we get in the car and go get our ice cream, I want to show you. This was Ben's photo, I think, but this is a reminder of the past. 25 years ago, 30 years ago, asked for color processing by Kodak. Too funny. Sorry guys, I couldn't wait for you. Ordered my chocolate chip ice cream. This is small. And here's memories where my sister took me to back when I was a young lad. And they have goats. They have goats. Look at this. Hey. Hey buddies. Did you guys get a lot of ice cream? Cute. Hi. All right, I want to find a spot to eat this and call it a night. So, by the way, this is, again, Memories in Kingston, but it's right across the line pretty much. Might as well call it Exeter's adopted ice cream place. So, hope you guys had a good tour. I know I ranted quite a bit, but so is life. So, we'll see you on our next adventure. Cheers.